adjust my screen so that you can see me a little bit better. All right, I'm going to walk you through what you're going to do on Pear Deck. And I told you yesterday that we're going to spend this week reviewing money. And it's hard to believe, but we only have 14 days until winter break. So it's going to go by really fast. And there's some things that we need to review, money being one of them. So I know that you are pros. I know that you are good at counting money, but it's always a skill that is good to practice. So let me see if I can present this. This is what it looks like. So you'll watch this lesson. I'll talk you through what you're going to do. And then you will practice with the Pear Deck slides by yourself with the link that's under this video. So here we have money. You'll notice that I have all 4 of my coins on this page along with a dollar bill. So we'll just go quickly through this, and then the next slide will say the same thing. But here I have a penny. I'm going to make myself smaller. Here we have a penny, which is worth 1 cent, a nickel, 5 cents, a dime, 10 cents, and a quarter, 25 cents. Now, this is one of those things, just like a lot of things in math, that you just need to memorize what they look like and memorize the value. Some of them are tricky and easily mixed up, so the more that you work with money, the easier it will get. And then here's our dollar. It has a 1 on it, so this is $1. I know that $1 is equal to 100 cents. So there's 100 pennies in $1. There's 20 nickels in $1. There's 10 dimes in $1, and there's 4 quarters in $1. And especially this big quarter, I want you to know that if you have 1 quarter, it's 25 cents. If you have 2 quarters, it's 50 cents. If you have 3 quarters, it's 75 cents. And if you have 4 quarters, it's $1. And I want you to know that fast. I just want you to see, oh, 3 quarters, 75 cents. I don't want you to have to think about it or add 25 plus 25 plus 25. It takes too long. You just need to know if you have 3, 75 cents, 2, 50 cents. All right. I told the in-person kids, oops, is this not going to go? Maybe it's not going to let me. I'm going to need to make it small. It's not going to let me scan. Okay, this is a picture of a table that I made, and it's kind of a helpful chart. It has the front and back of all the coins, the name of the coin, and then the 2 different ways that you can write it. The way that it would look using the dollar sign, and the way that it would look using the cent sign. Now, what I've noticed with some of the kids in person is that I'm going to edit this so that you can see what I'm talking about. But I've noticed a lot of kids who want to write money using the dollar sign, which I think is smart because that's how you're going to see money written most often. But they're including both signs. So they'll put the dollar, 0, decimal point 01, and then they'll also add a cent sign at the end. It's either or. So you're either using the dollar sign if you're writing it like this, or you're using the cent sign if you're writing it like this, but you don't use both. So I said to the in-person kids that if you can take a screenshot, I would take a screenshot of this chart so that it's on your photos, and you can use it anytime that you need to remember these quick little facts about the different coins. All right, so I will walk you through the rest of the lesson. These are all interactive slides. So you are going to, on this one, it says students are going to enter a number, so you're going to count the coins on this page. I notice that these coins are pennies, and I know that when I'm counting pennies, I'm going to count by ones. So you'll count these up, and then you will write the number or the value of this page. Now, it's just pennies, so it's pretty easy because you're just counting by ones. All right, this next page, this is a drawing slide, so you're going to draw the value. I notice this page has nickels, so you're going to count by 5s because a nickel is worth 5. And then you will write the value of this page. Okay, then we have our dimes. Dimes are worth 10. So you'll count by 10s and then write the number. So these kind of go back and forth. You'll know what kind of slide it is based on what questions pop up. So this one's just a number again. So you can write it with the $sign. So for example, I'll give you this answer. For this, I could write this answer in 2 ways, just like I can write the other slides in 2 ways either. And I would like you to, if it's a drawing slide, get in the habit of practicing both. I don't think, actually, you'll probably be able to do both on this. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So it's going to ask you to enter a number. So I'm going to write it 2 ways. The first way I'm going to write it is using a $sign. So I write my $sign 0 because I don't have any dollars, decimal point. And then I have 40 cents, 10, 20, 30, 40. So I'm going to write 40. You can do it that way. And then if this is an enter the number, you could do a few spaces between it. So I'm pressing my space bar. And then I can write the second way. So 40 cents. But I want you to get in the habit of showing both ways. And if you're going to pick one way, I would pick the one that has the $sign because, again, it's the way that you're going to write money most of the time when you get older. All right, so that one. Now we have 3/4. This is a drawing slide, so I want you to draw the 2 ways that you can show me the value of 3/4. Remember, 1/4 equals 25 cents. Okay, now we're going to go and mix our coins up. And I want you to get into the habit, not get into the habit, but after we're done with this, I want you to go and ask the grown-ups that you live with if they have any change. So I keep a big change jar in my house, and maybe you do the same. That would be a great tool for you to use to practice. And I would choose just like a whole handful and maybe put it in a Ziploc bag and make a game of reaching your hand in 5 times a day and pulling out a handful of coins, a mix of pennies and a mix of nickels and dimes and quarters, and putting them out on the table and counting them. Maybe you don't do a whole handful at first. Maybe you close your eyes and you reach in and pick the first 4 that you feel, and then you tell me how much you have. That would be a great practice. So remember, when you're practicing a mix of coins, you want to count the largest value first. So quarters are the largest value, 25 cents. So I would count those first, then dimes, then nickels, then pennies. I also like to arrange them like that. So I'm going to show you on the next slide what I mean. This one's not that hard because there's only 2, but I like to put them in order from biggest to smallest, or left to right. We read left to right, and I like to read money that way too. So if this was, if my money was laying out on the counter like this, I would move my dime over here because it's smaller than my quarter, and I would touch my quarter first and say 25, and then I would touch my dime and say 35, 25 plus 35. Now I would also encourage you to have a paper and a pencil by you whenever you're doing math, because having a scrap piece of paper just to write down amounts to track in your head is really helpful. So if I was doing this on a paper, I would draw a little quarter and a little dime, and I would write the value of those 2 coins. So I would write 25 and 10, so I could just keep track of it in my head, especially if I have more than 2. So this is a multiple choice. You'll choose that. So let me show you what I mean. So if I was going to draw this on my paper, I would have had it drawn. And then above my coins, I would write the value. So 25. So you could do this on any scrap piece of paper that you have. You want to use tools that are around you. Anytime you take a test and you need paper, don't try to struggle in your head. Do things that help you out. So it helps me to see it written out. So 25, 10, 5, because this is a nickel, and then 2 pennies. So there we go. So 25 plus 10, and sometimes I even make little notes below to myself. So I know that 25 plus 10, let me see if it will, if there's any sort of tools here that do what I want it to do. Here we go. Oh, no, I just want one of those. Sorry, I'm kind of talking out loud here, but I want to show you what I think about in my head when I do things like this, because I think it's helpful. And maybe you won't think it's helpful, but in the chance that you do, it's always something that would be helpful or something that you could try. Okay, I'm just going to use a text box and connect these. So I know that these two, 25 plus 10 is 35. I'm going to put that in the middle. And then I'm going to do plus 5, right? Goes up here. And then I'm going to do another text box. So now I'm up to 40 with these 3. And then I count on and I do 40 plus 1 plus 1 equals 42. Now again, you might be thinking, what? But you need to have some sort of tracking way when you're counting coins to be able to keep track of what you're counting. And you won't always have to do that. You'll be able to count on in your head. But sometimes when you're just learning, it's helpful to write it down so that you know where you are, so that you don't have to start at square one if you lose track of something. You can start where the last thing you wrote down, and that can save you a lot of time. All right. Then this is a draggable. So one thing that I definitely know that we have on our assessment is it will give you a coin and then it just has a number above it. So this doesn't mean that I have 1 dime. It looks like I have 1 dime, but I have to pay attention to this number up here. So I notice that the number 7 is written above my dime. So that tells me that I have 7 dimes. So I want you to drag the red dot and tell me if I have 7 dimes, do I have 50 cents, 15 cents, 70 cents, or $1.30? And you're going to drag your little red dot to that. Same thing with this. Now it's a different coin. This time, what coin is this? It's the back of a coin. It's Monticello. It's where the President Thomas Jefferson lived. It's a nickel. And a nickel is worth 5. So this time it looks like I have 1 nickel, but above it tells me that I have 9. So if I had 9 nickels, how much money would I have? Same thing. You're going to drag your draggable to it. All right, last one. You'll notice that there is a picture of a toy car. And this toy car costs $1.45. And I reach into my pocket and I pull out 2 quarters. So notice how the same numbers are above these, so I don't have 1 quarter, 1 dime, and 1 penny. The number above them tells me how many I have. So I reach into my pocket and I pull out 2 quarters, 6 dimes, and 6 pennies. Do I have enough money? If not, how much more do I need? So you need to figure out how much money I pulled out of my pocket. And do I have $1.45? Do I have less than $1.45? Do I have more than $1.45? If I don't have enough money to buy the car, how much more money do I need? That's your challenge for today. So then you'll be done with the slide. You can do this on a separate sheet of paper. Then let me go back here. I'm not done with this math block yet. I'm doing the lesson right now. So the video will be here and then the link to the Pear Deck to go back and practice dragging. And then before you go and do Prodigy today, I want you to do this exit ticket. It's just a few money questions. Looks like this. So you'll put your name. Here's a picture of some money. Count the money and choose the correct amount. So you'll add it up, choose the answer. Same thing down here. Count the money and choose the correct amount. I want to know what the value of this coin is. And then last question, I have 2 dimes and 3 nickels. How much money do I have altogether? So same thing. It looks like I have 1 dime and 1 nickel, but the number above it tells me how much I really have. And then you will submit it. And then just like yesterday, I did the Prodigy assignment. And I only want you to spend 10 minutes on Prodigy. I don't want you to sit there for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, just 10 minutes a day. And by the end of the week, you will have finished the assignment. So set a timer either on your iPad. That's a great place to set a timer. Or your microwave or your, not your microwave, your stove. All those have timers. So think of a timer around you so that you don't get lost and sucked in and spend way too much time. In just 10 minutes. All right. Good luck.